Hey everybody, my name is Jess Forster and I am so excited to be here as part of Crop and Create Delivered. If we've never met, hey, how's it going? Let me tell you a little bit about myself before we dive into my class, Life by the Numbers. So I live in Toronto, Ontario, Canada with my husband Aaron and our two kids, Rowan and Sam. By day, I'm a medical social worker. I work with children and families diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. It is through hearing their stories that I was interested in recording my own life memories. And that's how I got involved in scrapbooking. I started scrapbooking 10 years ago, primarily doing pocket pages. My first project that I ever completed was Ali Edwards' Week in the Life. I love the combination of photos and words and putting together my stories. In 2014, I was on the Becky Higgins Project Life creative team. And for the last few years, I've been working with Ali Edwards' design team as well as Ellie's studio. What I love about Crop and Create specifically is the community aspect of the events and how we all have this shared language. It doesn't matter that we have different backgrounds or that we're from different parts of the world or different countries. What I love is that there is a purpose and a passion for recording our memories, whether it's playing with pretty paper, doing an artful technique, taking photographs, or dare I say, writing down our stories. What I love is that we all find purpose and meaning in doing that. So enter in today's class. I just wanted to say thank you to you for showing up. We have 900 of our friends here around the world. I am in the beautiful Jennifer Tryon's craft space recording this video, and somebody pinched me because this is like this is like a dream come true. So thank you so much for being a part of this weekend's event, and thank you so much for at least trying on getting your stories told. So before we dive right in, let's talk about some class ground rules. Writing down our stories can be difficult, they can be hard, and so I just wanted to clear the air to make sure that you know that this is a scrappy, choose your own adventure. Only you can decide when you write your story. You can take in the information that I'm talking about right now, you can choose to participate later, or you can just take the ideas and let them sit on your palate so that you can digest them. The second thing that I would say is that you have the right not to compare. We all come from different backgrounds, different lives, and my life is going to look different than yours. And there's the saying that comparison is the thief of joy. So if you find yourself thinking, oh, my life doesn't look like that, that's okay, because our lives will not look like each other. You're not Jess Forster and I am not you, and that is okay. The third thing that I would say for you to keep in mind as we go through the material is that you have the opportunity to write freely. There is no grammar police. I will not be showing up at your door and saying that you didn't use a semicolon or a period or a comma in the incorrect place. What I want you to do is to practice. Telling your story and getting your stories down on paper takes time. And I feel like I've been doing this for 10 years. You may have been doing this longer, but it takes time. It takes practice to write down your thoughts and your feelings on your pages. So wherever you're at, honor that and jump in. Try to write and try it out. I am your cheerleader, your hopeful inspiration or guide to encourage you on your journey. So those are the three things that I want you to remember as we move forward in the class. All right, I just wanted to start off with a quote. It is my memory keeping philosophy. I believe that beauty is in the details of life. And I also believe that memory is not a thing, that is a process. And what I mean by that is that we actively have to engage with our memories in order to record them. So we can be archaeologists to dig up memories from the past, or we can play detectives in our present life and observe what is. And so for this class, Life by the Numbers, what I'm asking you to do is to play detective. I want you to be curious. Who are you in the here and the now? What are the big and small events that take up your day? What do you like? What don't you like? What season of life are you in? For me, I am in the throes of motherhood. I have, as I said, 2 young kiddos, one almost 8-year-old, almost 9-year-old daughter, and a 5-year-old son. I'm working outside the house. I'm also a wife, and sometimes I like to run, and sometimes I like to play with pretty paper, and that fills up my day. Do I love laundry? No way, and that's okay. These are the quirks of my life. And I would be interested in where you're at. Maybe you're single. Maybe you are an empty nester. Maybe you are a first-time grandparent. I'm interested in where you are in 2020. Certainly, I think we can all agree that 2020 has been a crazy year, and I want to know how that has shaped you. How has that shaped your experience? Simply put, I want to know who you are right now and what makes you you. So through Life by the Numbers, we are going to complete not only a pocket page layout, but we're also going to be combining that with a traditional layout. And what I love about numbered lists are the fact that they are easy and they're a tangible way to get your stories told. So not only can you use point form sentences, but you can also use them to inform the design of your layout. When we are working with a traditional layout, as I just showed you, you have a little bit more free space to work with, but with pocket pages, there's only a certain amount of design strategies that you can use. And the idea is, by using point form, we are going to indicate what kinds of things we are going to be doing, how we're going to shape our design. I'm just going to walk you through some examples of numbered lists that I have used in my own pocket pages over the last year. This first layout comes from Ali Edwards' Gratitude Story Kit. It is a 9x12 double page spread. And what you can see is that there are 8 photos simply with thickers placed on them. There are 2 4x6 journaling cards. And what it does, it highlights just some of the things that I am grateful for in my own life right now. That's the thing with journaling. It gives you an opportunity to be mindful. It gives you an opportunity to be grateful, and it gives you an opportunity to reflect on what you think and feel about what is happening in the world right now. When you look at the design principles of the numbered list, you can see that I'm using clusters of the numbers to divert your eye around the page. It is a great way to sort of focus the viewer's attention as you look at your layout as to where to go. In the second example that I'm showing you right now, this is a monthly pocket page spread that I completed for Ellie's studio in June. This is a reflection of what life was like in June 2020. And as you will notice, as I highlight with the design, that there are 5 numbers, simply just stuck on the photo, and it diverts your eye around the page. And what it does, it simply states who's in the photo, where we were, and there is a 4x6 journaling card summarizing all of those places and situations. Now this last layout, it is a 9x12. This is what I call a monthly check-in. It uses blue thickers, and it also is clustered, as you can see, in a visual triangle. What I like about this page is that it highlights 2 colors, both blue and yellow, and gives an added design element, added texture when you look at this page. And you can see the numbered list is on the left-hand side. Again, it's what these layouts have in common is that they use numbers or thickers that potentially you may have in your own stash. I don't know about you, but I have a basement full of supplies. I hoard thickers, and that includes random numbers or letters. These pocket pages also use shortened sentences to tell our stories. So when we think of journaling, I think one of the expectations that we have is that journaling has to be this long, dramatic thing, but it doesn't. It can be short and sweet and fun and funny. It can include things that are both happy and sad, but also ridiculous. And what I like about it is that it is short and to the point, right? When you use numbered lists, it gives you a confined space to just simply reflect a few thoughts and feelings. So in the kit that we are working with, first of all, did you not love your box? Wasn't the box so amazing? I loved seeing all of the photos on the Facebook group of you posting where your box was delivered, how dogs are sleeping on it, how there are pumpkins, and it's amidst the decor. As you saw with Catherine and Jennifer with the unboxing video, in my kit, you have a collection from Crate Paper, specifically the Sweet Story by Maggie Holmes. There are a few different thickers in there, and I'm going to show you what we have. We've got these beautiful, beautiful pink sweet pea stickers from American Crafts. I love this. I believe this is a sans serif font. Maybe it's not, but it is a very graphic, bold, modern font. The second thicker set that we have is also from American Crafts, from Crate Paper. And this is called Sorbet. And what I love about this is that this is more free form. This has a little bit more of an ethereal feel. It is more whimsical. And when you place them together, what I love is that you get different shapes and textures. And so when you're designing your page, although I've given you a blueprint, as I said before, this is a scrappy choose your own adventure, you have the opportunity to make changes to the layout. You know, you can completely follow my design, or you can choose your own adventure and make the layout your own. So what I love about these are that you can not only use the numbers or the letters to spell out. So for example, you could use these numbers 1, 2, 3, all the way to 9, or you could spell it out using an O, an N, an E, right? So we've got two sets of stickers, the Sweet Pea and the Sorbet, and each have both letters and numbers, which gives you 4 combinations. So in order to add visual texture to your layouts, you have 4 different combinations to use. So that's the first journaling tip. The second thing is that when you are designing your page, you want to use a variety. So think about using a pink lettered number or a black lettered number or spelling out the word, and you want to mix and match. We'll go over that as we complete the layout. But that is the big takeaway, is that you have 4 different combinations to create various different numbered lists. Now the next thing in order to tell our stories is not only the words, but also the photos. And you would have seen a video in the Facebook group leading up to today's video. Now, if you didn't have a chance to take or print off the pictures, that's okay. You've got lots of time. You can look at the example today, or you may be working with pictures that you've already worked out. What I should tell you is that we are working with one 5x7, which is for the traditional layout, and we're working with 10 3x4s for the pocket page. Now, everybody asks us when we are across the country, how do you take photos? What are the ways that you would capture yourself? And the one thing that I would encourage you to do is to practice. What I want you to do is to get into the photographs. I think we get so caught up in taking pictures of our kids or our pets or our spouses or the trips that we take, is that sometimes we forget to turn the camera around and take pictures of ourselves. And so I know it can be hard. I know that when we look at photos of ourselves, you can have these negative thoughts and you can really, really judge yourself harshly. And so if you notice that you are judging yourself, what I would say is be like Elsa in Frozen from Disney and let it go, right? The more that you put yourself in the photo, the more opportunity of pages that you can tell, right? That's what adds layers of depth to your stories, is you actually getting into your photo. I remember when I was 20, if you haven't read the handout, you will know that I am about to turn 40. And by the time this airs, I will have turned 40. But I remember being in my 20s and thinking, oh my gosh, I hate this photo. I want to throw this out. Obviously, it was a film photo, so I think I may have thrown out some of those pictures. But thinking that I didn't look very good, and I, want to put my head to my forehead and like say don't, because I was in pretty great shape and I had beautiful skin and I didn't have the adult acne that I'm fighting with now. That's a whole other story for another video. But as you can tell, once you take a photo, it's a snapshot in time. And we are living in such unique times that we want to document the story. There are so many pages that you could tell. So please, please, please be kind. Be kind to your mind. That's the first tip I would get, is take a deep breath and get yourself into the photo. Once you try getting yourself into the photo, what I would say, let me get my camera here, is what I want you to do is, first of all, if you've got a smartphone, and let's say, what is the best camera to have? It's the one that's with you. What I want you to do is I want you to wipe off the camera in the front, the camera in the back, and I want you to play. I want you to find where your angles are at. Always top down, always makes people look good, as opposed to like this, right? Change your position, see how your body is, play around, have fun. We have tons of ladies that get into the photo booth when we are in person, and that is one of my favorite memories from Crop and Create, when we actually can do this in person. I love seeing how people dress up in the boas and they make funny faces and they are clearly having a good time. I'm having having a great time at the event as well. So please play with variety. For this class, I have a combination of selfies, I have a combination of timer shots, and I have a combination of landscape shots. So again, when you're playing with your camera, you want to take from various positions. This is portrait, this is landscape. You want to take selfie, you might even want to stand this up. My handy dandy water bottle here, you could stand this up, put it on a timer, and shoot, right? The other tip that I would say is you want to make friends with your self timer. So you may notice I am wearing, not that I work for Apple or make any commission or anything like that, but what I want to say is that if you have an Apple 5 watch, you can actually set your iPhone up, put it in a distance where it reads, and you can snap a photo. It'll count down and you can take great pictures just from a smartwatch. I'm not sure about any other types of brands, whether it's Android or Google, but certainly if you've got Apple products, this is a great way to get your full body into the frame. All right, so as you may notice, I've got my pocket page layout here, and I've also got our traditional layout right here. What I will say is, for the types of daily activities that we are recording, what I want you to do is I want you to save your best photo, the one that shows you in the best light. I want you to reserve that for your 5x7, right? This is the star photo that you feel the best in. We're gonna give itself its own page, and I'm going to show you a bit later how to incorporate this into your album. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna focus on creating our pocket page. So as you may know, we've got a double page 12x12 here. With the photos, let me just grab an example. This is what the layout looks like. You will notice that this is a checkerboard pattern, meaning that every other space we've got pattern paper. It's an A-B pattern, so we've got photo, we've got pattern, paper, and story, pattern, paper, and story, photo, pattern, paper, and story, photo, and etc., etc. So that goes across 2 pages. This is a symmetrical design, meaning that if you were to fold this in the middle, it would match. So we've got journaling here, they're both 4x6s. If you would fold them together, they are symmetrical. It's also a split complementary color scheme, meaning that we've got 3 colors mostly. We've got yellow, we've got pink, and we've got green. And so it creates a calming effect when we've switched photos to black and white to combine them. And we also have consistent design elements through these tags. So what you may find in your kit is that you've got these basil tags. They're 20. So if you make a mistake with your journaling, that's not a problem. You're gonna have plenty of tags to go over. Now with my layout, I have typed up the journaling on the computer. For the supply list, I've mentioned that you could use a ruler and your favorite journaling pen, no problem. If you are interested in actually typing this up on your computer, what I have simply done is I have taken a picture of this tag. You will notice, I will put this down here, and I'll put it under a piece of paper, just so you can see this. What I've done, I've put the tag on a piece of paper, I've opened up my camera, and from the top down, I've taken a photo. Now you may notice on my camera there are a series of grids. If you don't see it, that's fine, but it's essentially a tic-tac-toe. And what happens when you have your smartphone completely flat, the X in the middle will be just the color yellow. Once I've taken a photo, I've then sent it to my computer and opened it up in Photoshop Elements. I've cropped it down to the size, which is 2.5 by 3.5, or excuse me, 2 by 2.5 to 3 and 3.5. I've then created a text box and typed my journaling up here. For this class, we are using a specific prompt. We are using the number. So I have just used very specific numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 9. I've also included the phrase, the number of, and included the description from the activity chart. So for example, I've talked about laundry. So let me tell you, in this photo, I've got a picture of myself driving. I was actually a passenger in the car. My husband drove me to work. So I was not driving and taking pictures on my own. But you can see here's the photo. And what I've done is I've included the Sorbet stickers with 2. And basically the prompt says 2, the number of hours I spend in the car every day commuting to work. And so the idea is you're going to have your number, and then it's either going to be a 1, 2, 3, either with the letters or spelt out, plus the number of as the prompt, and then the activity that you have noticed in your own life. So this could be around food, this could be around relationships, your health, number of chores or daily activities. In my layout, I've talked about the number of cups of coffee that I drink, the number of times that I enjoy doing laundry, the number of times I go on a date night with my husband, which is not a lot because of COVID. I talk about the number of times that I watch late night TV shows, scrapbook, commute, hang out with my kiddos, have a bath. These are the types of things that we're going to do, that you're going to document in your own page. So working with our A/B design, what I'm gonna get you to do, I'm gonna set my layout over here. What I'm gonna ask you to do is grab the 2 Design F page protectors, okay? What I want you to do is I want you to put the spines in the middle. So you will notice you will notice, let me put this over here, get organized. Don't you like having a clean craft space? This is much cleaner than my own one at home. As I've said to lots of the ladies at the events that we do, is that I'm gonna rock retirement, because when, when I finally have time and space to organize, I will. So I think you can see that there. So you've got spines in the middle. You're gonna grab your cards and you're gonna put them in an A-B pattern. So essentially, this is where these go. A, B, A, B. All right, so you have an idea of where the journaling is going to go. So we've got 10 spots here. And if that freaks you out, let's just say, take a deep breath. It's okay, we're gonna get through this. You're gonna take your 10 3x4 photos, and again, we're gonna put them in various order, okay? So as you will notice, as I'm doing this here, I've got 3 color photos to add a bit of contrast. I like to work with black and white photos just because it neutralizes all the colors that you're using. You don't have distracting elements when you are planning a page. The other thing you may notice is that I've put the color photos, which highlight black and white, they're actually in a visual triangle. So I've got 1 color photo on the left-hand side and 2 color photos on the right. So you may notice that I know where I'm putting these. That's because when I've constructed this before, I'm looking at lines within my photograph. So you may notice that with my head over here with my kiddos, it's pointing in. I like the energy that it goes over here. I've got a picture of me doing laundry. As I again said, I do not enjoy doing that. That's pointing in there. These are head-on shots as well. This photo I'm looking down, this one I'm looking up, and this one is again straight on. So it's a balance of mixture of design elements as well as just paying attention to the details in your photo. What we're then going to do is take some of your pattern paper. So hands up if you have pattern paper at home. I certainly do. I've got a ton of it. What I love about this is that you can actually use your pattern paper and cut up, right? You can take patterns that you enjoy. And as I said before, we're really focusing on the green, the pink, and the yellow. And if you noticed, these are actually the B-sides. I know Nick, with her class that's coming up, she often describes herself as a B-side girl. I'm probably a B-side girl as well. I enjoy sort of the subtle mix of patterns. I've also thrown in this black and white stripe to give a bold graphic element, okay? Now, what you're gonna do is you're going to cut up these pieces of paper. You're going to have 3 3x4s from these pieces of paper and 2 3x4s with this pattern paper, okay? The other thing that I will note is the great thing about pattern paper is that you can create your own design elements, right? You can create your own journaling cards, and that's kind of the benefit of working with traditional paper. The other thing is when you are creating your own traditional layout, you can have flow across your pocket page as well as your traditional page. With this pattern paper, this is the Boo. This is super cute, right? You've got you've got ghosts on the back and a black and white stripe on the front. What I'm going to ask you to do is I want you to cut vertically, so from the top down, because what I want is these lines to be horizontal. So when you're making a cut, I want you to start up here and go down. Okay, why don't I show you? Got my notes here. Super fun. We're getting crafty. So we're going to create a title card from this Boo piece of paper. And so what we're going to do is we are going to measure 6 across. And again, you'll notice that the lines are horizontal. And we're just simply going to cut in half. All right, we're going to save this later because we're actually going to use this piece of paper for our traditional layout as well. All right, so once we've got 6 inches across, we're going to measure 4, and we're making sure that your lines now look vertical, but once we use them, it's going to create a title card. All right. So this is going on the left side. All right. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to create another 4x6 card using the posy or the green. Get this out, use my other notes. This is so fun. I don't think I've ever shot in front of, had such a professional video being shot before. So glamorous. I think when I started scrapbooking, you know, my 30-year-old self would have been pretty excited that this would be happening. All right, so measuring 6 inches across. It doesn't matter if this is cut vertically or horizontally. We're just doing a 4x6. All right. What I like about this is that we are doing a peekaboo card, right? You're leaving a little bit of pattern around. That beautiful pattern designed by Maggie Holmes. So we've got 2 title cards. One is actually the black and white is going to be the title card, and the green is going to hold our reflective journaling. And you're saying, Jess, you're already making me write so much already. What else are you going to make me write? So the idea is once we've completed our numbered lists and writing them out on these journaling cards, these are just summaries, right? These are just point forms. What I want you to then do is reflect on all of these together. Where are you? Where are you in your life right now? Let me read you what I wrote, just to give you an example of a summary. So this says, in 6 weeks, I will be turning 40 years old. When I was younger, I thought 40 was old. But now that I'm approaching middle age, I feel like I have a lot more life left to live. Yes, right now, I'm quite possibly in the best physical shape of my life. Focusing on health and fitness has been one of the best decisions I've made for myself in the last year and a half. Eating breakfast and packing my lunch have also been good choices to make too. Over the next year, I hope to run another half marathon. In this time, an hour and 45 minutes, complete at least 1 pull-up at the gym, and most importantly, keep up with Rowan and Sam, which are my kiddos. It's funny how alive I feel when I'm sweating and chasing the kids on the playground. Here's to many more years of blood pumping and sweating. So although I've included other tasks, this is really a summary of where my head is at right now. And I think that you can summarize. You don't always have to have your photos match your journaling. So once we do this, once you summarize, once you write your tags, which we have completed from the homework video, which you can check, as I said, out in the Facebook group, then what I want you to do is create a title card. So what I want you to do, you've got 2 coconut swirls, 2 pieces of coconut swirl in the card, in your pack. What I want you to do, one will be used for the traditional page. We're just going to put that aside. The second one, we're going to cut out 2 3x5 pieces of cardstock. All right. I feel so fancy in the studio. I wonder where you guys are. It's been so awesome to see so many people from around the world participating in this event. So I'm just measuring 5 over, and 3 across. You can type up your journaling. As I said before, I like to type up my journaling on the computer because I find that my handwriting is very loopy, it's very big, and I have, if you couldn't tell, as a social worker, I have lots of thoughts and feelings. My coworkers often tell me that, I eat feelings for breakfast. And if you've met me or Catherine, she will tell you that I often take her to the well of emotion. I can cry at the drop of a hat. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but that is just who I am. So you'll see that because simple cuts, this is very, very simple cuts. We're just mirroring what we've done on the left side and the right side. All right, so journaling will go on the right side, and we're going to create a title card for the left. Now with the title card, you have some great cardstock. I love this banner here, My Lovely Life. This is one of the pieces that inspired the page. And so what you're going to do is you're just going to simply pop that out. All right. We're going to place it sort of halfway, oops, about a quarter of the way down the 3x5 card. All right. And then we're going to take our Sorbet stickers, our lovely, lovely Sorbet stickers, and I want you to put this on the card saying right now. What I love about doing in the moment journaling is that it allows you to capture your details right now. You know, 6 months ago, we never would have imagined that we would have been stuck at home or, you know, quarantining as it were. If somebody, you know, talked about being tested for COVID, nobody would have known. You know, do you have your mask? What do you mean? Because we are living in such unique circumstances, this is why it's important, right? Life happens, and it can happen at such a quick pace. That's why we want to document these details. So this is a look of the, I'm not going to put the title on there, but you can write right now with these stickers. The next thing that I would say is we are going to dress up. We'll get the backing for the cards. So you're going to take this green posy card. We're going to cut two 3x4 pieces. I'm actually going to do it from the top. Line that up. And across 3. So we've got 1 and 2. The other thing about this is that we want to consider where it's going to go. All right. We also want to consider the visual triangle. All right, we're going to do 3 with this yellow piece of paper. We're going to cut 3 3x4s out of this beautiful, beautiful smitten. What you should know is that we're also cutting a 5x5, 5.5 by 10 for a traditional page. So what I want you to do is cut down the middle. All right. You'll see my notes. You see my notes on the sticky. So measure again 4 over, 3 over. Once we do that, then we're just going to cut. There's a 3x4, another 3x4, and cut this little tag off. I don't know about you, I don't always save my scraps. I feel like I've got a ton of paper, so this can go by into the garbage. All right. Now again, thinking of the visual triangle, we're going to put one in the middle on the left side. We're going to put the other at the top right-hand corner, and then in the bottom. So again, as you can see, our design is taking shape. Visual triangle, another visual triangle, and let's do the pink one. Almost there, guys. Almost there. So this is called Pink Truffle. And again, we're going to cut this vertically from the top to the bottom. All right. So 3 inches across. Top to bottom. And then we're cutting out 3 more 3x4s. This is a great way to use up your supplies. As I've said before, I think we all have a lot of goodies that we've maybe acquired over the years. And if you don't want to invest in more Project Life or journaling cards, you can simply do this at home, right? This is another great way to use up your stash, another great way to bring to life some of maybe those older collections that you have yet to use. You know, I think we all have some of those in our spaces. And it's okay to use it, right? Use the stuff. There's more stuff that's going to be made, so let's use the stuff that we have on hand. All right. So I'm going to use this. We got pink at the top left-hand corner, down at the bottom of the left hand. That right there. And over to the side. Now the last 2 spaces are going to be used for that black and white, this black and white boo paper. So what I want you to do is I want you to use the 6x8 that has been left over. Remember, we cut the 4x6 title card out. And remember, we want these to be horizontal lines. I was told there'd be no math. That's why I like simple cuts, is because I'm a social worker. If you haven't noticed, I talk with my hands. I'm very feeling focused. And yeah, that's why I like simple cuts. If you've taken Vicky's class, and I assume that you have already, you'll notice that there's lots of intricate cuts. I'm not that kind of girl, and that's okay. So we're gonna just do 3 inches over. Again, there's our horizontal. I'm gonna cut this 3x4. So you're gonna have 2 3x4 cards again. Now, I already know the design. I obviously already know what this design is, and so it's important for you to play, right? If you want to have a balance of colors and neutral elements like black and white in your layout, it's like a puzzle piece, right? I've put these down exactly knowing where I'm going to put them, but you might want to play around. And that's kind of the fun. That's the fun for me, is seeing how these elements work together. It's like a fun puzzle, a fun scrapbooking creative puzzle. All right, so you can see just how that is. All right, the last thing that I want to do is show you how we dress up the journaling card. So not only are we dressing it up through numbered lists, but the second way that we're going to dress it up is through the stickers from this day-to-day sticker sheet. So this is actually a planner project, or a planner product, I should say. And what I love about this pack is not only does it have a lot of sayings in it, it's also got numbers that you could use. I will show you how to incorporate that on the traditional layout, but you can also use your planner projects in your pocket pages as well as your traditional items. Just because a product has been designed specifically for maybe a pocket page or a traditional layout doesn't mean that you can't use it for your item. for not its intended purpose, right? It's like thinking outside of the pocket, it's thinking outside of the page. So what I want you to do is I want you to grab this sticker sheet, okay? And instead of taking the stickers off of the sheet, what I want you to do is I want you to actually cut them. So grab your scissors. Where are my scissors? Here are my scissors. Here are my scissors. So instead of removing these stickers, I want you to simply just cut them. And what we're going to do is we're going to back them and place them in between your journaling card and the pattern paper that you've cut down to 3x4. So I'm not the best cutter, if you would say, but what you want to do is you want to move your page as opposed to the scissors. So you're simply just cutting. I've chosen mostly the black and the white, as well as some of the pink elements. You'll notice, snip. All right, I'm gonna clean this up as best you can. And if your eyes have changed like mine have in the last little while, talk about becoming 40. I have been at work. You're simply going to make a cut in the middle here. I'm gonna show you cut in the middle to where it ends, and then you're gonna cut along the side and take that out. Take that piece of paper out. All right. Oops. But what I was saying is that once I've turned 39, I need reader glasses at work to see the computer. That's been an interesting development. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more fun surprises as I keep aging. But please, don't tell me. I'm not sure I want to know. All right. So now that we've got this sticker, oops. Now that we've got this flag, so you're going to do this 10 times. What you're going to do is you're simply going to slip it under and adhere. And I've just done that roughly, but you can take the time. And we're just sort of making this fun, like little tag, right? So you've got a little bit of, I like the overhang here. It gives a little bit of dimension. It's outside of the pocket. It's a little bit unexpected. All right, I don't know if you can see that. But what you're going to do is you're going to cut out 10 flags and adhere them upside down so that that look like they're sticking out outside of your pocket. All right, so that's one way to dress up and make your own journaling cards. Have a little fun with it. All right, so that I think concludes the pocket page. Let's go over and tell you if you find, let me give you a few more tips before we move on to the traditional page. If you're not sure what to write about, what I want you to do is I want you to look through your camera roll. So grab your smartphone. I want you to flip through your camera roll, and I want you to look at what you're paying attention to. Maybe you have to expand what you're paying attention to, but I think being a detective and seeing what you're interested in and who you are right now will give you an idea of what you're actually taking pictures of. So maybe you're taking pictures of fall leaves, or maybe it's sunny where you're at. Maybe you're taking pictures of the books that you're reading, or the coffee that you're drinking, or maybe it's the people in your life, the pets, the family members, whether it's kids or partners, or maybe it's a picture of a Zoom call. That's how you're connecting with family. So there is a chart in your handout, in that beautiful coil bound book, that gives you some prompts to how to pay attention. So as I said, the different categories could be food, could be health, could be relationships, it could be daily chores. These are the types of things that I want you to pay attention to, right? And to have fun. Here's an example of having fun from the layout that I used. I'm just going to set this aside. As I've mentioned before, I do not enjoy doing laundry, and I think that you can have fun. It doesn't all have to be sentimental when you are recording your stories. So, the number of times that I enjoy doing laundry per week, right? 0. You can see right here. Number of times that I enjoy doing laundry a week, 0. Truth, out of all the domestic chores that I complete on any given day, laundry is my least favorite. I don't mind loading the washer. It's taking the clothes out, drying and folding that I mostly despise, right? So it doesn't have to be all sunshine and roses. That's not what life is. You can have fun with things that you maybe don't enjoy. The other thing that you might want to include, hobbies. Maybe you want to take a picture of you watching these videos on YouTube, or maybe you're taking a picture of yourself and all of your crafty friends and putting it into an app where you combine and have a collage and you put it into a 3x4. Maybe you enjoy sewing or knitting. It doesn't have to be specifically scrapbooking, but think about the hobbies as well. I think that gives you just a bit of an idea of things, people, places, of what to include in your pocket page. All right, so now that we've done that, let's clean up our space a little bit. And you might want to think about highlighting one of the stories. Now, what I've talked about recently is using your best photo. So this is a photo that you would enjoy people looking at, and it sort of takes center stage. So as I've showed you before, here is the traditional layout. And this, by mixing and matching both a traditional page with a pocket page, you get a variety of story. This is like, here, this is the attention that I want to pay the viewer to look at. I want you to look at this photo, and it gives this highlight. And funny enough, this piece of paper that I've got right here, this is actually called highlight. Now, when you're creating a traditional page, what I would say to you that in my album, how I've stored this is I've put this in the middle. So I've got my pocket page over here, I've got my traditional page over there, and I'm simply flipping. And this sort of flows not only with the colors on the back, but also the front. So what I would suggest in terms of tips, when you are choosing a 12 by 12 piece of paper, choosing it obviously from a similar line may be helpful, but also if you're creating a traditional layout that you're sticking right in the middle of your pocket page, and you're letting your best photo shine, make sure that you pay attention to not only the front, but also the back. And I'm gonna actually show you how you can include your journaling on the back. So first things first, what I want you to do is grab your highlight. We're gonna cut off the maker's tag, all right? So grab out your, let's put this pocket page away. Goodbye, pocket page. Thank you for all the details that you captured. Thank you, thank you. There, we're practicing our gratitude. We're gonna cut off this page, this tag. All right, put that over there. And what I like, just flipping this back, okay. So I like this detail up here, and I already know from a design perspective, I've got pink up here, pink down there, and I've kind of like this, little peaks of green in the color. I like how that looks. And so I'm going to take the second piece of coconut swirl, which is a 12 by 12, not the one that you've cut up already. I also want you to remove the maker's tag. All right. And I also want you to cut this down to 11 by 11, right? I want to show off a bit of this paper in the back, but just have peaks. I think that's such a classic look, and especially when you are, when we've have that kind of peekaboo effect in the pocket page, we kind of want to mirror it in our traditional page. So we're bringing similar design elements, not only in the pocket page, but also the traditional page. So we're taking 11 by 11, so we're cutting this down. Again, I was told there'd be no math. What is that from? I'm not sure if that's from a movie or a television show. So we've got orange. All right, so you can see that I'm just centering that white piece of cardstock onto your page. Now, the journaling, I know that I really want to highlight my 5x7 here. And because this is sort of lopsided, this is where my energy is going in here. So I want to include it on this side of page. So I'm thinking of, because I like the peek through elements of the pink up here as well as down here, that I'm going to do a visual triangle of clusters over here, here, and down at the bottom. So in terms of my journaling, I'm thinking about having it right there. So let's get a backing. So I'm taking this yellow piece of smitten paper. All right, I'm going to cut it. What am I going to cut it down to? To 5.5 by 10. So 5.5 by 10. This is such a classic. I love this yellow. I think it pairs really, really nicely with the pink and the green. All right, so we've got 5 by 5 and then we're cutting it down to 10. And since there's not a lot of yellow on the background of this sort of also makes a statement, especially when it's paired with a black and white photo. So we're going to essentially center it half an inch from the top, half an inch from the side. What I also want to do is play up the black and the white. And so I'm going to ask you to get your boo paper, your black and your white. And what I want you to do is I want you to cut a 0.5 by 10 piece of the black and white stripe. Okay, and remember we're cutting from the top down to the bottom so that it is horizontal to mimic the elements that we have in our pocket page. That's one way that we can get cohesiveness, is by mimicking certain design elements on that page, from that pocket page onto the traditional layout. All right. 10 inches. Put it off to the side. All right, so this is, I like having sort of this peekaboo effect. So we're gonna adhere this down, but I just wanna show you the look that we're getting. Just a little bit of black and white to peek through. And from here, what I would do is, because I type my journaling on the computer, I would run my 11 by 11. I, again, would open up that kind of canvas in Photoshop Elements. If you don't have Photoshop Elements, or using your computer is very, very, not scary, but maybe overwhelming or intimidating, no problem. Using, again, a ruler, measuring 8 inches down and 0.5 across, and doing, you know, an inch and a half of journaling, that gives you a rectangular box at that space. I think that is work with what you know and what you can do. The next thing that I would advise you to do is to create a visual triangle. So what I've done here is I've really used the flowers. I like sort of the botanicals as like a symbolic kind of nature. I've got a teal flower up here, pink flower there, as well as a yellow one down at the bottom. And what this does is, again, diverts the eye around the page and helps to give it a little bit of a flow. So grab your cardstock, okay, your cardstock stickers. This is such a weighted cardstock. You know, you can invest, I think you can invest in one great sheet of cardstock, and that it can last, it can give you so many design options when you are when you're creating a traditional page. Now that's not my go-to mode of being, but sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's fun to play outside of your comfort zone. If you're primarily a pocket page scrapbooker, I would suggest, buying a line that you feel comfortable with. So the yellow is just going down. I like, again, these peekaboo elements where this sort of goes off the page. And I'm just going to do just show you roughly where this goes. But essentially, it kind of mimics the flags that I showed you how to create in your pocket page, right? So you have symbolic nature, elements of growing. I'm just going to put that here. And then seems like a good story for growth, for documenting a 40th birthday. Now you might not be documenting your 40th birthday, maybe you're documenting the age that you're at. You don't need to share where you're at with that, but maybe it's about family. Maybe this is us. This is our family. This is 2020, maybe an interesting page to document. Where is that teal? Where's that teal flower? See, I told you my eyes are going. You know what? For now, we are just going to use, there it is. It's right in the middle. Ooh. Geez, Jess. Again, so I'm also putting the flowers on the outside of the page. Now what you want to do is you want to cluster your embellishments up at the top, down at the bottom. And again, using your day stickers, what I want you to do is grab the day stickers, your planner products. And what I love about these planner products is that you can, if I can find it, where did I put those, Jess? There they are. What I love about these planner stickers is that they've got these sweet little sayings. Remember, priorities, important, reflection. This is another reason why you might want to document the age that you're at, or even 2020, is that it's got this meaningful symbolic. Again, what I want you to do is cut out reflections, remember, and important. So we're just putting this out. Keep the backing on, just because I think these are see-through, and what I want to do is just I don't want the page, the backing, because we're putting them on different surfaces, right? So I've got remember, or reflections right up here. We're gonna put that there. Let's do, where is it? Remember. What we're going to do is we're going to put this sticker on the top of the chipboard. Okay? And I don't want necessarily the pink to show through, right? So again, you can dress up your cardstock, dress up your chipboard thickers. And what's the last one? Let's do important. Okay? Simple, easy peasy for the win. Before I had kids, I used to scrapbook all traditionally, and I found that it would take me days to complete days to complete a layout. And that is one of the reasons why I decided to go to documenting via pocket page, is because it's like slipping in the cards and done. Now you can dress up your pockets. You can dress up your pockets with color, with design elements. But the reason why I don't always do a traditional page is that it takes so much time. So what I like to do is simplify, and just these are some of the ways that I do that. So essentially, you can see the bones of this traditional page. But what I want to bring your attention to is what to do on the back. All right. So as you've noticed, I've got these other stickers. I've actually taken them off the planner stickers and adhered them to the different frames. And what you do what you can do with that is you can actually continue to play detective long after Crop and Create Delivered is over. So what I want to do is, in my 40th year, write down some of the things that I noticed that I enjoy. So one thing that I've noticed that I have been consuming is nibs. So one thing that what I could write about is my favorite candy of 2020 has to be nibs. And that would be something that I write down in my own handwriting. I could also type this up on the computer and simply cut and paste and put it down in the frame box. But there's lots and lots of options. So just to highlight again, mixing and matching your pocket pages with your traditional pages, you want to highlight the best photos on your traditional page, and reminding yourself that you can collect all the little details, these beautiful little details of your life in your pocket pages. You can use traditional supplies to make that. You can mix and match traditional supplies into your pockets, and you can have a number of different lettered, numbered combinations. So with our numbers, what we can do is we can, as I said before, you can use the numbers, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or you can spell it out with these whimsical sorbet stickers, or you can use the sweet pea stickers, which essentially gives you 4 different combos or options to create texture on your page. I hope that this class has inspired you to tell some of the details of your life right now. I hope it's inspired you to be a detective, to capture some of those details. I often talk about my dog Charlie. He was our pup that we've had for 12 years. I documented a story about him last year in January, and by December, he was actually gone. And so the important thing is it doesn't matter if you have correct grammar, or if you have run-on sentences, or if you don't look good in a photo. The important thing is that you document it in some way, because life changes. Life changes at the speed of light, and what seems mundane today may seem like a distant memory in the past. I just wanted to say thank you so much for your time and attention today. Thank you so much for joining me as part of Crop and Create Delivered. And thank you to Catherine for building such a wonderful, warm sense of community. I know a lot of you in the Facebook group have commented that you've been excited to be able to participate, and I'm so excited to meet you here virtually. I hope that we can tell beautiful stories together. So thanks so much. Cheers.